I'm Hayley.
And I'm Hannah.
We're here today. I'm going to have a conversation with you, Hannah, about your mental health journey. So Hannah, tell me a little bit about when you first realised that you were struggling with your mental health.
I think for me, the realisation wasn't until probably into my 20s, and maybe more so into my 30s in really understanding it. I definitely struggled through education with kind of confidence, not knowing who I was. I'm definitely not an academic, I'm more of a creative person, and peer pressure and bullying and those types of things have a massive impact as you grow up in those years. But I really didn't understand my mental health and the crux of those issues until I gained support for myself and spent a long journey in self-development through my late 20s and 30s. And that gave me kind of the understanding and awareness of what really were the problems and I guess a bit of acceptance that I'm okay and I'm here where I am now and I can't change those things, but it's quite powerful to have that understanding and awareness.
And so that journey from when you were sort of late teenager into your 20s, did you feel like you wanted to get support at any point or not?
I think it's very different mental health services now to 20 odd years ago, and I'm nearly 40. But I think back then I was very much affected by the not wanting to be a disappointment and not wanting to feel like I was struggling or not accept that I was struggling because everyone else around me seemed to be fine. I also didn't want to kind of impact the family dynamic because my parents lived very busy lives, so I kind of went under the radar and didn't really say anything, kept it to myself. I definitely became a hermit and kind of isolated myself at home. It was like my safe environment. On reflection, I really wish that I had been encouraged and supported to do that, but I now know that I made the choices to not talk about it based on kind of feeling that I shouldn't, which kind of led into more crisis as I went closer to my 20s.
Was there a point then where you felt like you wanted to reach out?
I think I always wanted to reach out. I think when you recognise something in yourself that's very different from other people, I was in a group of friends in school who were really confident, very happy, and I knew that there was something inside of me that was kind of more low and very depressed, that I really wanted to say something, but would I get bullied for saying something? Would people understand? I think I always wanted to say something, I just never had a voice, I just silenced myself.
What happened then? What do you remember what it was that encouraged you to reach out?
So I had an amazing best friend who has supported me through that journey tenfold, and I look back now and realise that she was encouraging me and realised that there was something wrong quite early on. But unfortunately my depression became so dark and very deep that I didn't believe anything anyone told me. My confidence was non-existent. I didn't feel like I wanted to be here, and in fact probably the darkest part of my depression was that my depression manipulated my brain to know that I didn't deserve to be here anymore, and that led me to unfortunately attempt to take my own life at 21. I at a very dark time wrote letters to my whole family saying thank you for the time that I'd had, and was grateful for so many things up to that point in my life, and I had lived a very privileged life, and I handed those letters to my best friend and walked to the woods. And I was fortunate that I had that person in my life at that time who was able to raise the alarm. Probably maybe should have done it earlier, but on reflection she also didn't know what to do. And then I was able to access the crisis support that I needed through mental health services, who enabled me to understand that this was just a moment in my life, that it wasn't my fault, that many things had contributed to those feelings and emotions, and gave me the time and the safe environment to be able to process that.
And how important was that?
I mean, it was life-saving. It was invaluable. at a time where I could not be sat here today. And a period of that gratitude, a section of that gratitude goes to my friend for raising the alarm, because it could be a completely different story. I think when I look back now, and obviously I had conversations with my parents and family members who, after that scenario, recognised the signs, but I did very much go under the radar. And I think the most important part of that section of my journey was the understanding that I should have said, and I should have talked, and I should have expressed how I was feeling more, because ultimately talking saves lives.
Do you find that you do a lot more of that now?
Probably too much. No, I think there's power in conversation. There's power in conversations like this. There's power in the conversations that I have with the community in the work that I do, through the job that I do. And it's just really important that people feel confident and listen to conversations like this that might inspire or plant a seed of hope for that person to think, actually, I do need to say something to someone.
And how do you identify that person?
Your safe zone, I suppose. It all comes down to safety, confidence, and being comfortable to someone that you trust. It doesn't have to be someone close to you. It could be someone, an employee, a colleague. It could be someone at the GP surgery. It could be somebody that you regularly see walking on the beach. It doesn't have to be someone in your household. The most important part of it is that you do.
What do you think that person can then say? You know, if they were just going to say one thing to you, what is that?
I think it's reassurance that they're there and that they're listening, and they're not going to rush off because they've got somewhere else to be, that they're just there. There's probably more words to not say than what to say, but I just think it's reassurance that the person's okay, that they're safe, that just talk, just open up, just tell me. And it's that open door opportunity that allows people to release something that's probably weighing them down more than we realise at that time.
What do you do now to look after your mental health then?
Oh, a wealth of weird and wonderful things, probably. I'm, like I said, I'm not academic, I'm very creative, so kind of art and music and cooking and those types of stress relievers are a real big part of my life. I run a charity locally to offer support for mental health to our community, and that rechecks in with myself, and as a professional we need that, and it's an opportunity for me to remember inside my brain the things that I'm supporting other people with and teaching other people. I spend a lot of time with my family because the dynamics for our family are very different now, and I don't feel like I'm going to be a disappointment, and there's been a lot of growth there. But I walk every day 4 miles at about 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning, and on the days when I don't do that, I notice the difference with my own mental health.
Wow, brilliant. If there was one thing that you could say to somebody who might be struggling with their mental health, they might even be sort of heading towards that crisis moment, but they just don't know what to do, what would you say?
Reach out. There's a wealth of anonymous services that you can contact, where you don't have to give your details, but there is that person that's willing to give you some time to talk. Use the community hubs we have in our city in particular to kind of raise the alarm and say you're struggling. But the key point of this is to talk and know that you're not alone. Stories like mine, there are a wealth of them in our city, but those individuals have experienced what you're feeling like and have kind of come the other side of the coin and are now on a journey of self-development to improve their mental health. But nothing changes if nothing changes. And you really have to understand that you are the only person that can make that first step into positive change.
Thank you so much today.
You're welcome.
Really appreciate it.